If you are watching this right now, pause for a moment because this is not random. Out of millions of videos online, you stopped here. That means something. You are special. God has led you to this message because your season is about to change. Maybe recently you felt overlooked. Maybe doors closed when you expected them to open. Maybe you wondered why things were taking so long. But hear this clearly today, God is about to shock you with favor. Before we go any further, take a step of faith right now, like this video. Subscribe to this channel and help us reach 10,000 subscribers so this message of hope can reach someone else who needs encouragement today. And in the comments, type 99 as a declaration that you believe God's favor is about to surprise your life. Stay with me because the favor God is releasing may be greater than anything you expected. When there are moments in life when everything seems ordinary, nothing appears to be changing, and it feels like your prayers are just floating in the air without an answer. But what you cannot see is that God is arranging something extraordinary behind the scenes. Right now, while you are watching this message, God is lining up people, opportunities, and miracles that you never imagined. You may think your season is stuck. You may think nothing is moving. But heaven is working on your behalf. And here is the good news. God is about to shock you with favor. Not a small blessing. Not an ordinary breakthrough. Something so unexpected. Something so perfectly timed that you will step back and say, only God could have done this. There are seasons in life when it feels like nothing is happening. You pray, you believe, you keep showing up with faith, but the circumstances around you look exactly the same. The doors you hoped would open remain closed. The answers you have been waiting for seem delayed. In moments like these, it is easy to think that God has forgotten about you or that your prayers are not being heard. But the truth is something very powerful. Even when you cannot see it, God is working behind the scenes right now. Just because you cannot see movement does not mean nothing is happening. God often does His greatest work in places that are hidden from our eyes. While you are waiting, while you are trusting, while you are wondering when things will change, God is already arranging the details of your future. He is moving pieces into place, aligning opportunities, preparing the right people, and positioning circumstances so that everything will come together at exactly the right time. Think about how a seed grows. When a seed is planted in the ground, you do not immediately see anything happening on the surface. For days or even weeks, it looks like the soil is empty. But beneath the ground, something amazing is taking place. The seed is developing roots. It is preparing itself to break through the surface. If you judged the seed only by what you could see, you might think nothing was happening. But the truth is that the most important work was happening underground. Your life can be the same way. Right now, you may feel like your prayers are buried in the soil of waiting. You may feel like nothing is moving forward. But underneath the surface, God is developing something that will eventually rise up in ways you never expected. Many times God prepares the blessing before He reveals the blessing. He prepares the opportunity before you ever see the door. He prepares the connection before you meet the person who will change your life. What feels like a quiet season may actually be a season of divine preparation. There are stories throughout life where people experience this exact pattern. They went through long seasons of waiting, confusion, and uncertainty. It looked like their lives were going nowhere. But suddenly everything shifted. A door opened. An opportunity appeared. A breakthrough arrived that changed their entire story. What seemed sudden to everyone else had actually been prepared by God for a long time. You may not realize it, but God is aligning things right now that will make sense later. The delay you are experiencing is not a denial. The silence you feel is not abandonment. God has not forgotten your prayers. He has not overlooked your faith. In fact, the longer the preparation, the greater the impact of what is coming. Sometimes God works quietly because He is building something that cannot be rushed. If the blessing came too soon, you might not be ready to handle it. But in this hidden season, God is strengthening your character, deepening your faith, and preparing you for the level He is about to bring you into. One day you will look back on this season and realize that it was never wasted. The waiting had a purpose. The quiet moments had meaning. The delays were actually divine timing. And when the right moment arrives, everything will begin to make sense. The doors that once seemed impossible will open. The opportunities that once seemed distant will appear. The favor that once seemed delayed will suddenly show up in ways you never imagined. So if you are in a season where it feels like nothing is changing, take heart. Do not lose hope. Do not let discouragement steal your faith. What you cannot see is that heaven is still moving. God is still working. The story of your life is still being written. Right now, behind the scenes, God is preparing something greater than you expected, something better than you planned, and something that will one day remind you that He was working all along. There are moments in life when everything feels predictable. The days look the same, the struggles seem familiar, and it almost feels as if your story has stopped moving forward. You may be doing the right things, praying faithfully, believing for better days, yet nothing around you seems to change. In seasons like that, it is easy to assume that this is how life will always be. But God has a way of interrupting ordinary seasons with extraordinary moments. Just when you think the story will stay the same, He introduces a sudden shift that changes everything. God specializes in turning situations around in ways no one expected. What looks permanent to people is temporary to Him. What looks impossible to the human eye is simply an opportunity for His power to be revealed. Many times the greatest changes in life do not happen slowly, they happen suddenly. One moment things look the same as they always have, and the next moment everything begins to move in a new direction. A sudden shift can come in many forms. It may come through an unexpected opportunity that appears when you were not even looking for it. It may come through a conversation that opens a door you never thought could open. It may come through a blessing that arrives at the exact moment you needed it the most. What makes these moments so powerful is that they remind us that God is never limited by time, circumstances, or human expectations. You may feel like you have been in the same place for a long time. Maybe you have been waiting for your breakthrough, waiting for clarity, waiting for a door to open. The waiting can sometimes feel frustrating, and it may seem like nothing is changing. But just because things look the same today does not mean they will look the same tomorrow. God can shift your situation faster than you ever imagined. Throughout life, there are countless examples of people whose stories changed in a single moment. One decision, one opportunity, one connection altered the entire direction of their future. What looked like an ordinary day became the day everything changed. That is how God often works. He allows seasons of quiet preparation, and then at the right moment, He releases a shift that moves everything forward. Sometimes the shift comes after a long season of perseverance. You may have gone through disappointments, delays, and setbacks that made you wonder if your prayers would ever be answered. But those seasons were not wasted. They were building strength within you. They were shaping your character and preparing you for what is coming next. When the shift arrives, you will realize that every difficult moment played a role in preparing you for the blessing ahead. A sudden shift does not just change circumstances, it changes perspective. When God moves, He reminds you that your story is not defined by your past struggles or current limitations. Your story is still unfolding, and the chapter you are living right now is not the final chapter. The same God who brought you through every challenge you have faced is the God who is able to open new doors and lead you into a better season. There may be moments when it feels like nothing is happening, but you must remember that God is never inactive. Even when things appear still, He is working in ways that you cannot yet see. He is aligning the right timing, preparing the right opportunities, and positioning the right people who will play a role in the next chapter of your life. One day, what feels ordinary today will become the moment you look back on and say, that was the turning point. The season you thought would never change will suddenly give way to new possibilities, new opportunities, and new blessings. So keep believing even when the progress seems slow. Keep trusting even when the answer seemed delayed. Your story is not stuck, and your future is not limited by your present circumstances. At the right time, when everything is aligned according to God's plan, a sudden shift will take place, and it will change your story in ways you never imagined. There are moments in life when it feels like you are doing everything you can, yet nothing seems to move forward. You work hard, you pray, you keep believing, but the doors you hoped would open remain closed. In those seasons, it can feel as if you must chase every opportunity and force every breakthrough. But one of the most powerful truths about God's goodness is this: real favor is not something you have to chase. When God decides to bless your life, Favor will find you exactly where you are, often when you least expect it. God's favor has a way of appearing in the most surprising moments. It can show up on an ordinary day when nothing seems special. It can appear through a conversation you did not plan or through a person you never imagined would play a role in your life. Suddenly something shifts. A door opens that you did not know existed. An opportunity appears that you never applied for. A blessing arrives that you never expected. In that moment you realize that it was not coincidence. It was the hand of God guiding your path. Many people believe that blessings only come through effort, strategy, and constant striving. While hard work and faithfulness are important, there are moments when God does something that effort alone could never accomplish. His favor goes beyond human ability. It moves situations, aligns circumstances, and brings opportunities that could not have been created by human planning. Think about the moments in life that change everything. Often they do not come after years of chasing them. They come when you are simply being faithful where you are. You are doing your best, staying committed, staying hopeful, even when the future looks uncertain. Then suddenly something unexpected happens. The right person notices your work. The right opportunity opens. The right door appears. What makes it so powerful is that you were not even expecting it. Favor often works in quiet ways before it becomes visible. God may be preparing someone to help you before you even meet them. He may be opening a door before you even know it exists. While you are focused on your daily responsibilities, heaven is arranging moments that will eventually cross your path. When the timing is right, those prepared opportunities appear, and everything begins to move in a new direction. This is why it is so important not to lose hope in seasons when nothing seems to be changing. Just because you do not see progress today does not mean that God is not preparing something for tomorrow. Many of the greatest blessings arrive after long periods of waiting. They come after seasons where it seemed like nothing was happening. But those seasons were not empty. They were moments where God was aligning the right timing for something greater. Sometimes favor shows up when you have almost stopped expecting it. After waiting for so long, you may begin to believe that certain things will never happen. But God has a way of surprising people in those exact moments. Just when you think the opportunity has passed, something appears that reminds you that God's timing is always greater than your expectations. When favor finds you, it often feels effortless. Doors open without struggle. Connections happen naturally. Opportunities appear without force. It is not because life suddenly became easy, but because God's hand is guiding the moment. What once seemed impossible suddenly feels possible because the right timing has arrived. This kind of favor is not random. It is the result of God's grace and His perfect timing. He knows exactly when to release the blessing, when to open the door, and when to shift your situation. What may feel delayed to you is simply God preparing the perfect moment for something better than you imagined. So even if life feels quiet right now, keep believing. Keep being faithful in the place where you are. Keep trusting that your story is still unfolding. Because one day, when you least expect it, favor will appear in your life in a way that changes everything. And when that moment arrives, you will realize that God had been guiding your steps all along. There are seasons in life when it feels like progress has stopped. You have dreams in your heart. You have been praying, believing, and working towards something better. Yet it seems like everything is delayed. Opportunities pass by. Doors remain closed. Plans do not unfold the way you expected. In those moments, it is easy to feel discouraged and wonder if you are falling behind in life. But what you may not realize is that sometimes the very thing that feels like it is delaying you is actually preparing you for promotion. God's timing is very different from human timing. We often want things to happen quickly. We want the door to open now, the breakthrough to come immediately, and the answers to appear without waiting. But God sees the full picture of your life. He knows where you are going and what it will take for you to step into that future successfully. Sometimes the delay is not meant to hold you back. Sometimes it is meant to prepare you for something greater than you imagined. Many people look at delays as disappointments, but in God's plan, delays can become divine preparation. During the waiting season, things are happening inside you that cannot happen in a moment of success. Your patience grows stronger. Your character becomes deeper. Your faith becomes more resilient. These qualities are often developed in the quiet seasons when it feels like nothing is changing. Think about how a building is constructed. Before the beautiful structure rises above the ground, there must first be a strong foundation. That foundation is built slowly and carefully because it must support everything that will come later. If the foundation is weak, the building will not last. In the same way, God sometimes uses delays to strengthen the foundation of your life so that when promotion comes, you will be able to carry it with wisdom and stability. What you are experiencing right now may feel like a pause, but it is actually preparation. The door that did not open may have been protecting you from stepping into something too early. The opportunity that seemed to pass you by may not have been the right one for your future. God often closes certain doors because He has a better one waiting ahead. There are countless moments in life where people later realize that what they thought was a setback was actually the beginning of a greater path. The rejection that hurt them pushed them toward an opportunity that changed everything. The delay that frustrated them gave them the time they needed to grow, learn, and become ready for something bigger. What once looked like a loss became the very thing that positioned them for success. This is how God works in many lives. He takes what looks like a delay and turns it into preparation for promotion. The time you spent waiting was not wasted. The struggles you faced were not meaningless. Each moment played a role in shaping the person you are becoming. Sometimes God allows delays because the blessing coming into your life requires a stronger version of you. The opportunity ahead may require wisdom you did not yet have. The responsibility ahead may require strength you had not yet developed. The influence ahead may require humility that only time and experience could create. So instead of rushing the process, God allows the preparation to unfold step by step. One day you will look back and understand why certain things took longer than you expected. You will see how every delay protected you, prepared you, and positioned you for something better. The waiting season will begin to make sense when the promotion arrives. Promotion often comes when you least expect it. After a long season of feeling overlooked or stuck, suddenly something changes. A door opens that no one else could open. An opportunity appears that you did not see coming. A breakthrough arrives that shifts your entire direction. In that moment, you realize that the delay was never meant to stop you. It was meant to position you for the right moment. The key during seasons of delay is to remain faithful. Continue doing what you know is right. Continue growing, learning, and believing. Even when you do not see immediate progress, trust that God is still guiding your path. The waiting season is not the end of your story. It is simply a chapter in the process of preparation. What feels like a delay today may become the very reason you are ready for tomorrow's opportunity. The door that stayed closed may be the reason a greater door will soon open. The season that tested your patience may be the same season that built the strength you needed for your next level. So do not lose heart when life seems delayed. Do not assume that nothing is happening. Sometimes the greatest promotions are prepared during the longest waiting seasons. And when the right time arrives, the same situation that once felt like it was holding you back will become the moment that lifts you higher than you ever imagined. There are moments in life when people will doubt what God has placed inside you. They may look at your current circumstances and decide that your dreams are too big. They may look at your past and assume your future will be limited. Sometimes the people around you cannot see the potential that God has placed in your life. And because they cannot see it, they begin to question it. Their words may carry doubt, their attitudes may carry skepticism, and their expectations may be very small compared to the vision that lives in your heart. It can be discouraging when others underestimate you. When people doubt your ability, your calling, or your future, it can make you feel like you have something to prove. But the truth is that you do not have to prove anything to anyone. When God's favor begins to move in your life, it will speak louder than any criticism or disbelief. The same people who once questioned you will begin to see something they cannot explain. God has a way of lifting people in ways that human effort alone cannot achieve. His favor can open doors that qualifications alone could never open. His favor can place you in rooms you never imagined entering. His favor can connect you with people who will recognize the gifts and purpose that others overlooked. When that kind of favor shows up, it changes the entire narrative of your life. Sometimes people doubt you simply because they cannot see the process that God is taking you through. They see the beginning, but they do not see the preparation. They see the struggle, but they do not see the growth that is happening within you. God often develops strength, wisdom, and character during seasons when others assume nothing is happening. Those quiet seasons may look like weakness to people, but they are actually seasons of transformation. There are countless stories of people who were overlooked, underestimated, and even dismissed by those around them. Others believed they would never rise above their circumstances. Others assumed they would remain exactly where they started. But when the right moment arrived, something changed. Doors began to open. Opportunities began to appear. The same people who once doubted them began to recognize that something extraordinary had taken place. This is the power of divine favor. It does not rely on human approval. It does not depend on people's opinions. God does not need the permission of others to bless your life. When He decides to move, nothing can prevent His plan from unfolding. You may be in a season where people do not fully understand your journey. They may question your choices or your direction. They may wonder why you are still believing for something greater when things have not yet changed. But you must remember that your story is not finished. What people see today is only a small part of what God is doing. God's favor often appears at the exact moment when people least expect it. After seasons of quiet perseverance, something begins to shift. The opportunity you have been waiting for appears. The connection you needed suddenly happens. The breakthrough you prayed for finally arrives. What once looked impossible becomes reality in a way that no one can deny. When that moment comes, you will not need to explain anything. The results will speak for themselves. The doors that open will speak. The blessings that arrive will speak. The transformation in your life will speak. What people once questioned will become something they cannot ignore. But the purpose of God's favor is not simply to prove people wrong. It is to fulfill the purpose He placed inside you. The blessing is meant to position you where you can grow, serve, and make a difference in ways you could not before. God's favor lifts you not only to change your circumstances, but also to expand the impact of your life. That is why it is important not to let doubt from others shake your faith. People may not always understand the path you are walking, but God does. He sees the faith you carry even when others cannot see it. He knows the dreams you hold even when others question them. And He understands the preparation you are going through even when it looks invisible to everyone else. One day the same voices that once doubted you will witness the evidence of God's hand on your life. They will see the doors that have opened. They will see the growth that has taken place. They will see the opportunities that have come your way. In that moment, it will become clear that your progress was not built on human approval, but on divine favor. So do not be discouraged by doubt. Do not allow criticism to weaken your belief in what God can do. Stay faithful, stay patient, and continue trusting the process. Because when God's favor begins to move in your life, it has the power to change your story in ways that silence every doubt and remind everyone that God's plans are always greater than human expectations. There are moments in life when blessings come quietly. They appear in small ways through little changes and gentle progress that slowly improves our circumstances. But there are also moments when God moves in such a powerful way that the blessing cannot be ignored. It becomes clear to everyone around you that something extraordinary has happened. The change is so significant, the timing so perfect, and the outcome so unexpected that it leaves no doubt that God's hand was involved. Many people spend seasons of their lives waiting and wondering when things will finally change. They pray faithfully, hold on to hope, and continue believing even when the path ahead seems uncertain. During those seasons, it can feel like nothing is moving. The days look the same, the challenges remain, and the answers you are hoping for seem distant. But sometimes God allows these quiet seasons because He is preparing something that will be far greater than what you expected. When the right moment arrives, the blessing that God releases into your life will not be small or easily overlooked. It will be unmistakable. It will be the kind of change that shifts your direction, opens doors you never imagined, and places you in situations that only God could have arranged. What once felt impossible will suddenly become reality, and you will realize that every moment of waiting had a purpose. God often prepares blessings in ways we cannot see. While you are going about your daily life, doing your best with what you have, He is aligning circumstances behind the scenes. He may be preparing the right opportunity, arranging the right connection, or positioning you for a moment that will change everything. From your perspective, it may look like nothing is happening, but from God's perspective, everything is moving exactly according to His plan. When that blessing finally arrives, it will bring clarity to the season you are currently walking through. The questions you once asked will begin to make sense. The delays that once frustrated you will reveal their purpose. You will see how every challenge, every moment of patience, and every step of faith played a role in bringing you to the place you are meant to be. An unmistakable blessing often arrives when people least expect it. It can appear after a long season where it felt like doors were closing instead of opening. Just when you begin to wonder if things will ever change, something shifts. A new opportunity appears. A door that seemed impossible suddenly opens. A breakthrough arrives that changes your perspective and reminds you that God was working all along. These moments remind us that God's timing is always greater than our own. What feels delayed to us is often part of a much bigger plan. If the blessing had come earlier, it might not have had the same impact. If the opportunity had appeared sooner, you might not have been ready to step into it with confidence and wisdom. God understands exactly when the right moment will come. When the blessing arrives, it will carry a sense of peace and clarity. It will feel aligned with the purpose God has placed in your life. Instead of confusion or struggle, you will sense that things are unfolding in a way that feels right and meaningful. The doors that open will lead you toward growth, opportunity, and a deeper understanding of your journey. The blessing that is coming into your life will not just change your circumstances, it will also strengthen your faith. It will remind you that every prayer mattered, every moment of patience had value, and every step of belief brought you closer to this moment. You will see how God's plan was unfolding even when you could not see it. So if you are in a season where you are still waiting, do not lose hope. Continue trusting, continue believing, and continue moving forward with faith. What you are experiencing right now is not the end of your story. It is simply part of the preparation. Because when the right moment arrives, the blessing God releases into your life will be unmistakable. It will be a reminder that your journey was never random, your waiting was never wasted, and that God has been guiding your path all along. If you are in a season where nothing seems to be changing, do not lose heart. God sees your faith, He sees your patience, He sees your prayers, and what He is preparing for you will be worth every moment of waiting. A door you never imagined is about to open. An opportunity you never planned is about to appear. A blessing you never expected is about to arrive, and when it happens, you will say with confidence, "This was not luck, this was the favor of God." Keep believing. Keep